Hey, this is Bill Algie from the Ages of Rock podcast at ROCKNPOD 2023. I'm sitting here with some members of Blackwater Down.
Yeah.
How you guys doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
Doing all right. Do you guys want to introduce yourselves?
Yep. I'm Deb Guy. I'm the lead singer and lyricist.
I'm Luke Alonso. I'm one of the guitar players.
Awesome. So how many members do you guys have in the band?
We have 5.
5? Okay. Typical 5.
Yeah.
Typical
All right.
5.
That's good. All right, cool.
2 guitars, bass, drums, me.
Badass singer.
Hell yeah.
Absolutely.
There you go. Got to have that for sure. So you guys are fairly new, right? So you've been out for
We're
about
very new.
a year.
Yeah, about 8.
8,
10
9 months.
10
We're
months.
babies.
Yeah, baby. So what brought this together?
Funny enough,
It was going to be a Guns N' Roses tribute. We wanted to play Appetite for Destruction.
do a couple shows, like one-off shows kind of situations, you know.
Our drummer actually at one point was like, why don't we write some music? So we started playing a riff and it just kind of took off from there, honestly.
Metamorphosized. Yeah, in an hour and 45 minutes at our second rehearsal, we had our first song written and recorded, and it just seems to be smoothly rolling along like that. We write
Nice.
about a new song, every other week or so.
Yeah, and if you think back to how songs used to be written back in years ago, before you had all these electronic devices we have to record things on nowadays, it's so much better, so much quicker, faster, more efficient.
Yeah, like
Go ahead.
our rehearsal recordings come out sounding pristine. Like I feel like we don't even need to go into a studio. We just record them while we're rehearsing, and our bass player's an awesome engineer, and he just kind of mixes and masters everything. And
To me, that's how you get the best result, too. Just 5 people sitting in a room together, locked in there until it's right.
So many bands don't do that anymore, right?
No,
they don't record live. Or they don't record with everybody in the studio.
Right.
Or even at the same time, it's shipping things through email.
Everybody piecemeal, like one at a time,
piecemeal and stuff together. Yeah.
We like to cohesively work together.
Yeah.
like
Cool.
that, though.
Yeah, and I think it would bring a totally different vibe.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Yeah. I mean, you can't get that vibe sitting in a room by yourself trying to pick up the tracks that somebody else laid down and that kind of stuff. It just doesn't work that way.
No, we have a couple songs right now that have just been mixed and mastered, and that was kind of like I did my vocals separately, but the guys got in the room and really tracked everything at once, which
Yeah, I mean, we played it live, and what came out was what came out.
Hey, you know what? You got to do that and just take it for what it's worth and see where it goes.
There's an energy that you get that you don't get when it's like recording to a drum track. It doesn't happen.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. You can tell that sometimes. I mean, it's when you hear that, you kind of like, this sounds kind of odd. Why does this sound odd? And you find out, well, they all did 5 different parts, and they came back and put it back together.
Frankenstein
and it's like,
it together.
Yeah, and you can tell it just doesn't. It just doesn't have a vibe or a feel that
Yeah.
So talk about some of your influences.
Oh man.
Oh Lord.
Well,
There's
Lord.
a question.
Guns N' Roses, obviously.
I would say Guns N' Roses.
Guns N' Roses, obviously.
I think. I mean, we've got the whole instrumental section is kind of metalheads.
Okay.
So we've got kind of like a metal blues mix-up almost coming together.
It really
Cool.
is, yeah. I have like more of a blues background kind of thing. Like that's where my heart is, and I played other music, my other original music, which is definitely different than what this is. This is more like metal, headbanging kind of rock with a little blues influence, and then my other stuff is like rebel folky kind of blues rock, and it's totally different vibe. But we have a lot of like Motorhead and Clutch.
We're all big Pantera fans.
Yeah, so that's not the same vibe at all.
No,
not at all.
But then there's also like a side of like Van Halen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Motley Crue, Aerosmith.
It touches on some of that 80s metal sound in there as well, but we try to keep it modern.
Yeah, it's been surprising. So I've had a couple interviews this morning already with people that I would say are pretty young.
Yes.
And it's very interesting how that 80s metal influence is permeating that age group. Now I have kids that are under the age of 30, but they're up there.
Well, it's
25,
funny because
21,
this is
30.
the baby of the group right here.
Yeah,
Luke's 23, and
Yeah,
the
okay,
rest of
so
us
yeah.
are like definitely over 30.
Yeah, so, but it's interesting that that has kept going.
Yeah.
That trend.
It's classic, man.
I mean,
It's,
my parents in the car, they would just play like Van Halen, Rush, all the time.
Yeah, you know what you call that, right?
Yeah.
Good parenting.
Good parenting, absolutely.
Van Halen was my first concert.
There you go.
They did it right.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I took my dad took me in 1978 to see Kiss for the first time.
Oh wow.
I've taken every one of my 3 kids at the same age I was. to see them for the first time.
That's awesome.
And then we're going to finish up here in November. So
Excellent.
yeah, it's been, you know, when you get that, it's just amazing. It touches you. It takes you to a place that you can't forget.
For real.
And that's what it's about. You know, I think that, you know, as long as people keep that, you know, as they write music and as they think about it, and don't forget, that's really, it's really that moment in time that you're trying to tackle, right?
Yeah.
You're not trying to write a masterpiece. You're not going to write a Grammy.
No, that's
you
what
know?
our goal is, though,
Yeah.
is to like give music that people can relate to and like really, you know, that's gonna last.
Yeah.
It's all about feel for us.
Absolutely.
You know, we're not trying to do the craziest thing. We're
Yep.
not trying to reinvent anything. It's just what feels good is what we play.
Yep.
Yeah, and you know, just don't try to overdo it.
Never.
You know, when you do that, that's always a.
I say simple is best.
Yeah.
You know, like
Yep.
my other music's very simple. It's very rhythmic, and that's the stuff that gets stuck in your head. You know.
Yeah, for sure.
So
Yeah,
we
man.
kind of
I mean,
use that.
Yeah, we're all here to have a good time, and this kind of none of us expected this to
Not
turn
at
into
all.
anything. I don't
Yeah.
think
And
we
it
were just
did.
Wake up one morning, all of a sudden you got 6 shows.
yeah.
That's
I mean,
exactly
literally.
it. Like every time we turn around, somebody's like, "Do you want to play with us? You guys are awesome." And I'm like, "That's the best compliment in the world."
Yeah,
to be in
absolutely.
Nashville, surrounded by a ton of bands, and everybody wants, you know, to make it and get out there, and here we are, like actually falling into it,
Yeah.
and the best feedback from the best people.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah.
It still amazes me since we've been coming to. So we've done this for 5 or 6 years. We've done every one of them. It amazes me how the, you know, being in Nashville, it is not. There is a totally different segment of Nashville that's
Yeah.
not country music.
Right.
You know, and it's
People get very surprised by
they
that.
get very surprised. And when you start looking at the people that live here now, that, you know, from all that scene back in
Yeah.
the 80s and stuff like that, and now, and you know, people we've had on the show, it's amazing the influence. And you know,
yeah.
when you listen to more country music now, you can hear the influence.
Yeah.
You know, some of those guys
Yeah.
are like, okay, you're borderlining on country.
Right. Right. It's like,
I mean,
does this
okay,
belong
okay,
on country
your
radio?
label picked you up and is marketing you as country, but
Yeah.
you're
No,
really
not
borderlining.
really.
Like, it's barely
Like,
there.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of funny because like you walk down Broadway, and 90% of the bands playing country music, it's local rock bands.
Oh, it is.
Just trying to make some
They're
money.
trying to make money.
I've been in more than one bar downtown where I'm looking at the band. I'm like, I think we interviewed that dude.
And the rock scene and the metal scene is
it's great.
booming. Like
Yeah.
there, it's really wild how crazy it is.
Yeah.
Like there are people everywhere, and the shows are packed. And
Yeah, the
Everybody,
venues
you
are,
know.
and there's more venues for that stuff too.
Absolutely.
It's great. Yeah.
You know, a lot
Yeah.
of great bands around town, just taking care of each other, helping each other out, having a good time
Yep.
together.
So when is the record coming out, or when are you doing a CD, or what's
we're
the
working
plan?
on singles right now. We're gonna probably release singles as they go, and then have an album release afterwards. But we've got 2 songs right now that are tracked. One is mastered. So that one will be
So
coming
we're
out.
looking
We
at,
actually
you
have
know-
them at our table today if anybody wants to hear some. But
Oh yeah, I'll run over there.
Come
You
on.
know,
Okay.
about a month maybe.
Yeah,
Cool.
hopefully about a
Somewhat
month. At least our first
really rough
record.
timeline,
Yeah.
but you know.
All right.
Yeah, like I said, this happened really fast. Like we really got thrown right into it, and we just started getting such good feedback that we started working a lot really quickly. And so
Great.
we haven't really caught up like the rest of these guys. You know, they
Yeah.
have their shit together, and we're like over here.
Yeah.
We're our heads are
Working
still
on it.
spinning from
Yeah.
not being a band that just sits in a shed.
Right.
So the cool part will be next year, right? When you
Yeah.
come back to ROCKNPOD.
Yeah.
And
see
we
where
come back
we're
and sit
at.
down again next year. And
Yeah.
you can tell us all about what the year's been
Who
like, and
knows
you're going to
where
go,
we're gonna
it
be.
has been a whirlwind.
That's
You
the
can't
goal.
believe what's
That's
happened.
the goal. That's absolutely
That'll
the
be
goal.
the best part.
Yeah.
All right, well, tell people where they can find you.
We are on Instagram and Facebook. Blackwater Down Band on Instagram and Blackwater Down on Facebook.
We're
all
on
out there.
YouTube, Blackwater Down on YouTube.
Yeah, see, I watched a couple videos. Yeah,
I
good
was gonna
stuff.
say we have
Yep.
some videos out there that eventually we'll do an actual music video, but we got to work on that.
All right, so any upcoming shows?
Yes, we've got April 8th, we're going to be playing at the Vinyl Lounge, which is like the newest venue around town.
I've heard about that, but
It
I
looks
haven't
really
been
cool.
there yet. I gotta figure
I
out
haven't
how to
either,
get there.
but yeah. And then May 4th, I want to say, we're actually going to be back there again. So that's
that's
Niravatra and Modern Primate on May 4th.
Okay.
And then, April 8th is Inferno Cat's EP release party.
Oh, nice.
So, should be fun.
All right, cool.
Yep.
Well, thank you guys for coming by. I really
Thank you for
appreciate
having
it.
us. Appreciate you.
Have a good day.
You too.